Marvel Legends, Squadron Supreme, Hyperion, Dr. Spectrum. Let's get it. What's good, my peeps? The Ruck is back at you again. What we got going on this time is a Marvel Legends 2-pack. What we got is the Squadron Supreme, featuring Hyperion and Dr. Spectrum. Hyperion is Hasbro's second offering at this character. We had gotten one back when Hasbro had basically reintroduced Marvel Legends back into their fold after a few years hiatus, and it was they were doing running changes back then, but they were known running changes, as in they were officially part of whatever wave they were in. So in this case, Hyperion and the Sentry were in the same wave. They actually shared the same body mold, and one would come out first, and then the other would come out sometime later. Dr. Spectrum, on the other hand, this is our first time getting this character. So in the form of a 2-pack, we've already taken care of 2 members of the Squadron Supreme. And about the Squadron Supreme, they started out in the Avengers, part of a storyline with the Avengers, and the Grandmaster is the big bad for that storyline. And they were really the Squadron Sinister. They were bad guys. They're not the same guys. This Dr. Spectrum is not the same as the Squadron Sinister Dr. Spectrum, nor is this Hyperion. But they all started off that way. And Squadron Sinister or Supreme are loosely based off of DC's Justice League. You can look at Hyperion and take 2 guesses who he's supposed to be emulating, and no, not Shazam / Captain Marvel. You know what I'm talking about. Dr. Spectrum, on the other hand, is loosely based off of the Green Lantern, utilizing the way how he utilizes his powers. But you'll see what I'm talking about when we go through the figures. Anyway, we've got the 2 digital renders of the figures and some artwork behind them. You see Marvel Legends series on our left. We've got Hyperion on our right. Dr. Spectrum in terms of the logos there, Squadron Supreme. You've got artwork on one side, digital renders of the figures on the other. We've got the Squadron Supreme logo at the top, and on the rear we've got more digital renders of the figures. Hyperion's on our left, and to his right, our left, we see his accessories. He just comes with an additional set of hands. And then we've got Dr. Spectrum on our right, and to his left, our right, are his accessories, a pair of those magical effects that we've seen a million times before, an additional set of hands, and he's got his jewel. Here we have our heroes, our Squadron Supreme members on the base, so you can get a look at them front and back. And what we take note of is, we'll start with Dr. Spectrum. Yes, you can tell what it is. It is the infamous Bucky Cap body mold. But we've got some new things going on here. He's got new arms, pinless arms. And then looking at Hyperion, we've got an all-new buck from Hyperion, which is great. And in terms of the body, and but they have reused arms because those arms are pinned, but his legs are pinless. So that's pretty cool right there. Here's a look at Dr. Spectrum's additional hands. You see they're open, grasping. They're formed wide enough so that way they can accommodate his jewel, that being this little ditty right here. So you see, fell out of my hands, but that's okay. Get right back up in there. You can see what that looks like. And the jewel is supposed to be the transformed sentient essence of a scroll. And of course, we've got these parts here, magical effects that we've seen a dozen, and I'm being generous by saying that, times before. These have, you see, they're both molded in different colors. So the full range of the spectrum. And all Hyperion comes with is an additional set of hands, sea grippers, as you can see. Looking at Dr. Spectrum, with the exception of those arms that we saw when he was on the rotating platter, he's a total reuse, and that includes the head. We've seen this head before on the eel and on Blizzard. If I recall, that's the only two times we've seen it, but that's enough. So yeah, we've seen this particular head sculpt before, and it suits for Dr. Spectrum. So it is what it is, and like I said, he's basically on the Bucky Cap body mold. As you can see, those energy rings are all the same colors that he's sporting with his costume there. He's got a white emblem in the center, and mine's is kind of sloppy, but yep, it is what it is. Get it up there a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about, but it's there. Other than that, paint apps are pretty good, but it had to be a challenge for Hasbro. Applying all of these different colors, you know how cheap they could be skimping on the paint. As you can see right there, the elbows, like I said, they're pinless, so that's good. Yeah, I gotta love that. And it's the Bucky Cap body mold, so there really is no need to go through the articulation. We know what we get. Looking at Hyperion's head sculpt, it's all new, different, especially compared to the previous one. And this is the head sculpt where he's blazing the masked eyes, which I always found funny. Like, that's supposed to really protect his identity. But hey, whatever works, whatever's clever. Anyhow, taking a look at that, let's get some angles there. Pretty cool. And but yeah, pretty nice that digital printing once again coming through. You've got his hair. There's no wash. Well, actually there is a slight wash in there. Got to really look at it. So yeah, cool. Bravo, Hasbro. You actually applied some paint. Since Hyperion's coming on a new buck, so to speak, we will take a measurement so we can get an idea how big this guy is. And he's coming in at 6 3/4 inches. So yeah, this is one of the bigger guys that we have. They'll be able to utilize this body for a few characters I can think of right off the bat. So that's cool. Taking a look at the figure, this is the standard look for Hyperion. He is blazing his cape connected to his pecs on both sides. A lot of times Hyperion is portrayed with his cape just draped over from one side, as you can clearly see. And those aren't the only differences. You see that the old school Hyperion is maskless, and he's blazing the pirate boots there, and his cape is a little bit longer, but as you can see, like I said, it's draped over his right side, and that's it. That's about the size of it. Of course, sporting the same color palette there, and it's also you can't really tell from the angle that the camera is showing you, but the older Hyperion is taller than our newer one. I think the older one was a straight up 7 inches, whereas our new 2-pack Hyperion comes just under that at 6 3/4. since we have our guy on a new buck there, we will go through the articulation on this guy. The head is on a ball hinge, so you can get his head to look up pretty decently, which is great because he's a flyer. You can look down that far, cool. You get some tilt, not much, but some tilt there, and of course you can 360 it. In terms of his shoulders, he can raise them up to 90. He can rotate them. Keep in mind you've got that that cape back there, so it'll impede, so be wary of that. He's got the bicep swivel, and his arms, his elbows, they're pinned. They used older arms for this part here. It would have been nice if they would have gone all out, but it is what it is. Fortunately, it's all the same color. It's not one of those two-tone things. He's got the horizontal hinge, and that's on all four of his hands, and of course you've got the swivel. In terms of the abs, he's got diaphragm, so we'll start with the lean with it, rock with it, and of course the twist and shout. Because of his big wrestling belt there, diaper, he can go forward, but not much. It's impeded. It's probably wouldn't be much even without it. You know how these diaphragms are, and he can go back that much. The problem is that doesn't look good at all, but he does go back. Hips, you can get him out that wide. He can move his leg up to about 90. Go back a little bit right there. He's got the the thigh cut, and right there you see it. They're pinless knees. So you got double jointed pinless knees. He's got the boot cuff there at the calf. He can point his toe forward that far. Pretty decent going up to. He's got ankle pivot, and of course holes, peg holes at the bottom of his feet. The only other figure that I could even remotely come close to utilizing as a Squadron Supreme member would be Nighthawk, but one that's a different Nighthawk than these guys, the member for this guy's crew, and two, it's in the middle of a display and I don't feel like taking them out, so there's no reason, because it's not the Nighthawk from this iteration of the Squadron Supreme. But speaking of that, it'll be cool if we can get Power Princess, the Blur. That would be pretty cool. And of course, their version of Nighthawk would be great, and that would more or less round out the core team of the Squadron Supreme. So maybe we'll get them in the future. We can hope. Anyway, as far as these two that we got here, our Dr. Spectrum, of course, it's on Bucky cap, but we got new arms, which is great. That jewel is very nice that he comes with. We got the same energy effects that we've seen, or I should say magical energy effects that we've seen a dozen times before. Hasbro did give us two, which is funny because Dr. Spectrum, when he fires any kind of blast or does any of his thing, the hand that's holding the jewel is where the energy is emitted from, not on the other side. I don't know if I've ever known him to be able to do that, but my memory, if my memory serves me, he only emits energy from the hand that he's holding the jewel in. But they gave us two, so you see I have him posed with just the one because it didn't really make sense, in my opinion, to have the other effect on the other hand. Hyperion, definitely great that he was revisited. We got a new body, which is excellent. It would have been nice if the arms would have been pinless, but at least we got a new body. So for bigger characters, the future definitely looks bright. It's a 2-pack. It's a fan channel exclusive, really. You could be able to get them from Amazon. I got this from GameStop, and I believe you can get it from Amazon. I know mine came from GameStop, and of course you can get them from Hasbro Pulse. And you see Go on there, and I think you can get it from Amazon. And I know that GameStop has got them in stock as we speak. So what you need to do is put in your order, because that's how it gets done.